Sure, let's do this, man. 15 incredible recent discoveries. I'm down for it. Okay? Yeah, let's get into it, man. I'll honestly just here till Skitten wakes up so we can play more Pokemon. She's playing at the start, and so I want to be there for that. But I'm not going to get her for like another 20, 30 minutes or so. So let's get into it, man. Play. 15 incredible recent discoveries. The one constant that's going to be awesome is new knowledge. The new frontier is always in front of our face. And there are so many things that we've all seek to know. And I love kind of going back to videos. This video is new, but I love going back to old videos too and kind of seeing where we've bridged the gap even between the last couple of years since, you know, people really start this larger discussion about things that we're all interested in and easy ways to like involve the community in where we want discoveries to go. And like sharing knowledge and stuff like that. I think it's really cool that we can do that as a group. So let's get into it, man. Let's check it out. Play.
Even though we've been living on this planet for thousands of years, we're
funky.
Still a long way from discovering everything about it.
Hey.
Sometimes we find something that's been hidden or buried for hundreds or even thousands of years and changes the way we think about our own history.
Ooh.
Here are some truly incredible recent discoveries that have shed fresh light on the past.
Yeah. Hey.
Those who go digging for buried treasure are used to finding most things in the ground.
You know, it's really cool too, digging things up, is because of the lack of context and understanding we have of some of these cultures. We reference what we know based on what we are guessing, educated guesses, but it's based off of available knowledge. When you find new things that are kind of out of the norm, it becomes interesting to kind of build that world. In a place, you know, where like we talk about the Dark Ages, where there was no writing really available, no history keeping, and then we find artifacts that are dated around that time. That makes these discoveries so important because that's the only way to learn things about those societies is by the things that we actually find, you know, like the locations where people lived at, and you kind of just make assumptions off of that based on like how people lived.
But
and stuff.
Swiss archaeologists were more than a little surprised when they discovered this bronze hand. They asked other experts around the world what it might mean or represent,
that's exactly
but
what you
none
do.
of them knew either. It's been carbon dated back to 2000 BC, but nothing like it from that time period has ever been found. It's too delicately constructed to have been a prosthetic, and nothing about the skeleton or the gold pieces and jewelry found buried with it offer any further clue at all. The best guess of archaeologists is that it's a symbolic replacement for a hand the buried man may have lost during life.
That's pretty dope.
In the summer of 2017, archaeologists working in a cave in Barrow Island, Australia, made a discovery that changes everything we know about human habitation in the country. Initially, it was believed that Australia's indigenous population, the Aborigines, settled on the land some 47,000 years ago.
47,000 years ago.
However, remnants of charcoal, primitive hunting equipment, and animal remains within the cave pushes that finding back by at least 18,000 years.
God!
It was long believed that the arrival of humans on Australia's land was responsible for driving off much of the natural fauna that called it home. Now there's evidence that animal and man lived side by side for thousands of years.
For a long time, yeah. Which also doesn't disprove that in any way, but yeah, it definitely does make it, because the way they talk about that is, in like a lot of regions in Australia, but in a lot of regions where the second humans show up, there is major change. I think like the Indian population in North America is probably one of the ones that had like the least impact because of like their beliefs with like them and nature and all that. But like a lot of human cultures are just like taking and using until it dies, you know?
It's not always scientists who make incredible discoveries though. Anybody who spends their time digging in the ground has a chance. That's what happened to miner Sean Funk in Alabama in March 2011.
Sean Funk.
Funk was a veteran miner and had seen plenty of fossils and curiosities in his time, but nothing quite like what made him shut his machinery down that day. Feeling his bucket hit something harder than the surrounding rock, Funk took a closer look and saw what he thought were brown rocks, with a pattern of what felt like stone discs on the back of each one. These weren't rocks. They were dinosaur bones, and Funk had discovered a new kind of dinosaur.
What?
The newly christened dinosaur was a huge, armored plant-eating reptile,
I love
which had
those.
likely been laying in the earth for 110 million years,
It's one of my favorite type of dinosaurs right there.
waiting to
actually.
be discovered. Usually when fossils are found like this,
they're really cool.
they've been flattened, but the conditions within the mine kept this nodosaur in almost pristine condition.
Is that what it looks like? That's insane.
When
actually.
we think of stone circles, we usually think of the
Stonehenge.
ancient site of Stonehenge.
One of the most weird ritualistic places ever created. Stonehenge is such a weird building. And like, we should actually do, I don't know if I've actually ever done a video just about Stonehenge, like how we think they might have created it. I need to though.
In England,
that place is amazing.
the giant rocks there have laid in formation for thousands of years, and nobody knows how or why they were first put there. Were they a calendar? A temple? A clock? People enjoy speculating about it as much now as they did hundreds of years ago, and we still don't know the answer. Now Kazakhstan are facing the same questions, as they've discovered an ancient stone circle of their very own.
Really?
Near the town of Aktau, an amateur archaeologist with a metal detector found a silver saddle in 2010.
Okay.
He alerted the professionals, and a full dig was ordered, revealing ancient stone carved with mysterious symbols and pictures.
Whoa, that is
Nobody
mad
can be
cool.
sure of the purpose of the site, but it's believed it was built by the Huns, fleeing the collapse of the Roman Empire some 1,500 years ago.
That is mad cool. Some of those things are just really nice to look at. You know, and the one thing about like American culture that I always bring up all the time, like is with the state of our government and funding for public welfare, never includes aesthetics. We've just started in the last 15 years in Vegas making the city look nicer, investing things in like colored manhole covers, drawings on the highways. I showed the boxes, the transformer boxes. I'll pull up another picture of that here, of the transformer boxes in Vegas that are being designed. And like, so societies like that, you know, I think that's important for them to do. And I think a lot of these things, even if they would have had a ritualistic, you know, service or something, but it's something cool to have around and to look at, you know, different locations and stuff. So that's what I think a lot
The
of
sea
stuff is.
usually gives up its secrets eventually. It just takes a while. In the case of this old Greek merchant ship, it's been waiting around 2,400 years.
The sea is probably
This
filled with
shipwreck,
so many.
recently uncovered over a mile below the Black Sea surface, is officially the oldest intact shipwreck ever discovered.
Wow.
It was found by the Black Sea Maritime Archaeology Project, who have been surveying the land below the water with specialist equipment for some time. The wreck is so well preserved that
Holy
it's taught
smokes.
experts plenty about how ancient ships were constructed, revealing twin rudders, rowing benches, and a more sophisticated mast design than they were expecting. Our ancestors may have been more advanced than we thought.
Oh yeah, they definitely were. Especially a lot of findings about like science and math and technology are a lot more advanced than we think for a lot of different places. But it's because it's so localized, it wasn't very widespread. So I think some of the best designs from some places are definitely are lost to history.
Forget everything you think you know about bread. It's generally thought that humans invented both bread and beer at around the dawn of the agricultural age, 10,000 years ago. We now know it's been going on much longer.
Really?
2 stone fireplaces were recently discovered at a site within the Black Desert of Jordan, believed to have been a campsite for hunter-gatherers.
Oh wow.
Researchers studied the contents of the fireplace and found traces of a rudimentary unleavened bread based on wild cereal and tubers. The site dates back at least 14,000 years. On top of that, research on some stone monuments belonging to another Natufian tribe, and found 150 miles west of the original site, indicated traces of wheat and barley. The Natufians were eating bread and drinking beer thousands of years before anybody else.
Wow. Good for y'all.
The first rule of Ninja Club is that you don't talk about Ninja Club. That's the basic message of a 300-year-old oath that was recently uncovered among a stash of documents given to a Japanese university in the late 16th century. The documents had been stored but never cataloged or studied before. The oath is signed by a ninja named Inosuke Kizu, thanking his ninjutsu master for his training and promising never to divulge the secrets of the martial art, for fear of retribution by 60 gods for generations.
Wow.
Given that we've only found the document now, he kept his promise.
Good
the rest
job.
of the documents constitute what amounts to a guide on how to become a ninja the ancient way.
Word.
They're all now available online if you want to try training yourself.
Y'all want to do some ninja training, bro? That's one of those like nerdy things that really makes me excited. We'll do some more recent discoveries a little bit later. Very interesting stuff and really motivating, really, that there's still more out there, you know? Sometimes it feels like you've kind of gone everywhere and done everything. And it's nice that there's still things that are new, even after all this saturation. There's still more discoveries to be made. We're not doing enough, so it's okay. I'll see y'all, man. Peace.